Okay. All right. I don't see any questions, chat, so I'm going to jump right in and start telling stories. The story that I want to tell starts at Enron. I don't know if you guys know much about Enron. If you do, chat in, tell me what you know about Enron. You might be Googling the Enron. If you Google Enron, the first thing you're going to see is Enron scandal. So if you, I purchased a website domain this week for this story. I'm going to build a page on our website. It's called enronstory.com. Because ironically, I had some clients, I still do, who actually worked at Enron and they invested at Enron. So I'm going to tell you the story of Enron because it's a very interesting story and it's packed with very helpful information for anybody who wants to be an investor, for anybody who wants to become wealthy, for anybody who wants to make wise choices with their money. The Enron story is packed and loaded with wisdom and mistakes. And so I'm going to tell some stories. Brother's father-in-law worked for them at the time of the scandal. Bad, bad, bad. Yeah, so Benjamin, that's kind of, I'm going to tell you a story about a guy named Bill. Bill was a company man. I call him Bill the company man. And then there's Joe. Joe was very entrepreneurial, so I call him Joe the entrepreneur. One of the businesses that Joe invested in was a farm. So I'm going to tell you the story about Joe the farmer and how he bought cows. I'm going to use Joe's story to teach you about dollar cost averaging. Bill's story, Bill the company man, is not so pretty, and I'll tell you Bill's story first. But then there's Andrea Smart. That's not really any of their names. I changed all their names to protect the innocent. But so there's Bill, the company man, Joe, the entrepreneur, and Andrea Smart. Andrea, by the way, was just this really smart person. I consider her one of the smartest investors I've ever worked with. I love working with people who are not clueless. Now, I'm happy to work with people who are clueless. And when I say clueless, I don't mean to be mean, but the truth is not everybody cares about investing strategies and principles of investing and the risk metrics and all of the things that go into successful investing. Not everybody cares, and I get that, and that's great. I'm happy to work with people who don't even want to know. They just need somebody who does know, who they can trust. And Andrea wasn't one of those people. Andrea was one of those people who wanted to do her own research and be well-informed, and then she would hire a guy like me to kind of get a second opinion, which is what she did. But her, my second opinion was, Andrea, you're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. And so I'm going to tell you her story along the way. It's in the Enron story. But let's start with Bill. Bill, the company man. So Bill, he was the perfect company man. Bill was the guy, like probably your uncle, maybe your Enron is the reason I have a job. Yeah, that's an accounting partner for you. That's true. A lot of attorneys could say the same thing. Enron and companies like Enron are the reason we have regulators. So back to Bill's story. Bill, the company man. Bill was your typical kind of CEO guy. He was a department head. He was pretty high up in Enron. Not high up. He was really a middle manager, but he made good money. Any of us would look at his job and say, he's really done a great job for himself. And he did. He worked hard. He was there a long time. He was the perfect company man. And when I say the perfect company man, he was loyal to the company. He believed everything the leaders at Enron told him. He didn't question anything, really. And so when I got to know Bill, my first advice to Bill was, Bill, think about it. You have way too much Enron stock. Not only do you have too much Enron stock because you're putting all of your 401k in Enron, because his 401k, he got matched, and the company stock kept going up and up and up. And he was like, I'm getting rich. And he was getting rich. He had over $1 million in his 401k. Bill, the company man, just kept doing what the leaders said. There's never been a better time to invest in Enron. That's what they told him. All the way up until the end, when they knew, the leaders, some of them went to jail, they knew they were playing a game with the numbers, and they knew that it was all about to collapse like a house of cards. They told Bill and the rest of the employees at Enron, there's never been a better time to invest in Enron. So what did Bill do? He doubled down. He put everything he could into his 401k. And the problem was, I said, Bill, look, the problem is you have all this investment in Enron, but that's also where you work. That's where you earn your income. So you're double dipping. You're totally not diversified, and that's dangerous. It's when it comes to an investment strategy that can help you maximize returns and minimize risk, it may seem like investing in Enron is a great strategy, or even Apple or Amazon, but you never want to invest in one thing. And that's exactly what Bill did. And you know the rest of the story about Enron, but what you don't know, Bill and his wife, Eleanor, they had a really good retirement package lined up. But the problem was that retirement package was all counting on Enron. And Enron collapsed like a house of cards. And when that happened, Bill got very anxious. He was only a couple years from retirement, so he was an older gentleman. And he got so anxious and full of fear and anxiety. What is he going to do? He had no job. He had no money. His 401k turned into zero pretty much. Not zero, but really close to it. And Bill died of a heart attack. Anxiety ate him up, and regret, I think, and he died. And Eleanor hadn't really worked. She was the widow. In Eleanor's story, she worked with my wife as a teacher's aide, and you don't make much money as a teacher's aide or a Walmart greeter. And it's not to say those jobs aren't meaningful and helpful, but they're certainly not something that can give you a retirement with dignity. And that's what happened to Eleanor. And that's really, I think, the sad story of Enron that's been told over and over with I don't even know how many investors. So the Enron investor story for me starts with Bill, the company man. And it illustrates, number one, the most important investment strategy of all, which is diversification. It's the simplest, easiest, most basic strategy. But if you want to maximize your return and minimize your risk, you need to understand diversification. It's so simple, it's pretty much